We're really excited to release this episode with Jason Craparo from Hovr. David, what were some of your favorite takeaways from this episode?
Yeah, I mean, Jason's super smart guy. I love how he pivoted from e-commerce to hospitality. And I love the fact that he's helping hotels drive more direct bookings by using content that already exists for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how he said he came up, the problem is they are not utilizing all the existing content that these hotels have. And he saw that and he just came to market and said, okay, here's a problem. After talking with marketers about, this issue, he just came to the industry to solve it. And he seems like he's doing great. It seems like a great opportunity for these hotels.
All right, enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Modern Hotelier. Both hosts were honored as top 100 influential people in hospitality. We're bringing you interviews with industry experts, thought leaders, and innovators who are shaping the future of hospitality. Whether you're a seasoned hotel professional or just stepping into the industry, our goal is to provide you with insights, knowledge, and trends that will empower you, the modern hotelier.
This episode is brought to you by Hovr, the intelligent content delivery software that crushes the industry average click-through rate by up to 4,000%. Hovr's patented technology enables marketers to bring the right content to the right person at the right time on your site, creating moments that matter with your site visitors. Those moments build engagement and deliver excited prospects into your booking flow, ready for the next trip. Organically enhance your website without using a developer to turn any text into an interaction. Show rather than tell what your amenities truly feel like. Why explain square footage in numbers when you can show the difference an extra 30 square feet can make with that gorgeous lounge area? Keep track of your activity, optimize your engagement, and continue to stay ahead of the curve with Hovr's advanced tracking and analytics suite. Whether your content is professionally shot, a collection of user-generated content, or a healthy mix of both, Hovr has a product that'll make your content convert. Hovr's newest feature, Pathways, puts your guests and possibly even their content center stage in a mobile prioritized immersive experience. Sign up before the end of August to access all of Hovr's newest features for one bulk price. Get Hovr set up in a day and start seeing results immediately.
Steve, who do we have on the program today?
Yeah, David. Today we have on Jason Craparo. Jason is the CEO of Hovr. Hovr is a venture-backed technology company that's revolutionizing the way people engage with brands and each other on the internet. Hovr is helping marketing teams that are looking to increase engagement from their site visitors and helps these teams by providing engaging experiences at scale on their websites. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
All right, so Jason, we're going to go through a couple sections. We're going to do a lightning round, go through your personal background a little bit, your career, and then we're going to dive into some industry topics. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. What was the first job you had?
Dishwasher.
Do you have a role model?
My Uncle Dan, my godfather.
Do you have a luxury that you can't live without?
I would say my children.
Is there a place you haven't been that you'd most like to go to?
Tokyo.
If you had your own late night talk show, who would your first guest be?
I would say Tom Cruise.
That's a good one. All right, last one here. If you had a time machine, you can go into the future, back to the past. Which way are you going and what year are you going to?
Boy, I really like the revolutionary period. That's my favorite time period. So I would love to go back to just before the Declaration and talk with those guys.
That's great. So now we're going to learn a little bit more about you and your background first, kind of what makes you tick. So you went to Union Endicott High School in New York. Did you grow up in New York?
Yeah, I grew up upstate New York. Yep.
How did that shape you into who you are today?
It was a great place to grow up. It was the actual, Endicott's the headquarters of IBM for so many years. So Watson was there. We had the factory. So a lot of the people that I went to high school with, their parents worked for IBM. It essentially was the town and the reason why that area existed. But blue collar town, a lot of great people, formation for sure for work ethic. I saw all the people around me, including my mom, just working so hard. So from day one, it was, you got a job. When I said first dishwashing job, that was 14 years old. As soon as I could get a working permit, man, we were out there. And I even have a little a landscaping lawn business at 12 with my own business card. So it's a good place to come from.
Great. So you originally were going to Coastal Carolina University. You worked your way up as a managing partner at Sonic, and then you ended up at Babson College. Can you tell us how all this happened and transpired?
Sure. So I went to Broome Community College in upstate New York first, and I got into Coastal Carolina, but coincidentally, in my award package, I couldn't afford the tuition. So I asked if they would defer my tuition for a year so I could go down and work for 1 year in South Carolina. And then at that point, I would have in-state tuition. I could afford to go there. My girlfriend's neighbor's friend of a friend owned Sonic Drive-Ins in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He gave me the first job, $8 an hour on the grill. And so I was just working my butt off there. I worked for 8 hours a day, clocked out, worked for free. I went home, and because I didn't know anybody, I didn't have a car or radio, TV, I just read the operations manual. So within 8 months, became a manager, assistant GM, and at 21 years old, built my first store from the ground up and never went to Coastal Carolina. So just went in right to ownership of Sonic Drive-Ins.
Do you still ever go back to your store? I got to ask, like,
No.
Do you go back and say, hey, that's my Sonic. I helped design that.
No. I haven't been back, but now with we just brought on Britain Resorts. They have 21 resorts in the Myrtle Beach area, so maybe I will make it back down. But I was just at the lake home of my franchisee, the guy who provided me that opportunity when I was 21 years old, and he's now in South Carolina still. And so got to hang out with him and rehash the old days.
That's great. Fun. And how did you end up at Babson?
So I was working with, when I left Sonic, I moved out to San Diego and for about 6 years helped run a national nonprofit. We employed inner city kids out at stadiums. So we worked with the 49ers, the Raiders, Chargers, Padres, and we believed that the greatest social service was a job. So we employed these inner city Section 8 housing kids. We gave them their first job. Then we did asset matching, financial education, literacy, and all of the college tours, career tours. And so I ran the business units for the group out at the stadiums. And the board chair, Jenny Flores, when I went back to school at night, got my 4-year degree, because we were preaching during the day to these kids that a 4-year degree was a proven pathway out of poverty. Yet I still had that 2-year degree at a community college level. So I went back for them at night, got my 4-year degree, and then I was getting asked to be on boards. The mayor of San Diego appointed me as a commissioner on the Equal Opportunity Commission, ensuring women, minorities, and disabled vets had equal access to contracts. So I was leveling up in the community, and I knew that I would never take the job of Dr. Mark Spencer, the CEO at Juma. He's just such a great guy, very talented. And so I thought that there was another level of education that I needed to go get if I wanted to help people in a bigger way. And the board chair, Jenny Flores, lived in San Francisco. She had just got her MBA at Babson. So I was telling her that I was looking at schools. I took the GMAT, and she said, someone like you, Jason, would really thrive at this college, number one in the world for 25 straight years for entrepreneurship. I didn't think I could get in, but they let me in and gave me a $30,000 scholarship. And yeah, it was a great place to go, though. Absolutely incredible. And I ended up taking home all the hardware there, the Roger Babson Award, Sorensen Scholar. It was a really great experience.
That was an award for, was it the number one student in your class?
Yeah, number one all around. A lot of activities, grade point average, just being involved, kind of all around.
Very impressive. So, one other fun thing I found out about you is you're a pilot currently, but here's where I'm really interested to hear. How did you completed advanced aerobics? How did you get into doing aerobics at an advanced level? And also, how did you get interested in being a pilot? So curious about that.
Both those. I'm not one to correct. I will say it's pronounced, though, aerobatics.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I used to always just have dreams that I could run and push off. Even when I was at Sonic in Conway, South Carolina, they had an airport. I would just go, when I had a couple hours, I'd just go to the airport and I'd watch the planes land. Always had an interest in aviation. When I left there, I went out to San Diego and I found an instructor first for helicopters. And helicopters has a fourth dimension. So, I didn't like the fact that if the engine cut out, we would just be a rock coming down and hope to auto gyrate at the end. So I started with single engine land aircraft, Cessnas, Pipers, things like that, bubble top canopy, little 2-seater planes out in Ramona, California. And then, 1 year I entered this program. It was actually a gift for Christmas by my uncle, but I went down to the University of the South in Sewanee, Tennessee. So the foremost author of all the books on aerobatics is this guy named Bill Kirshner. And he had a protege, Catherine Cavagnaro. So she teaches mathematics at the university. Beautiful campus. It's modeled after Cambridge. And I just had such a great time. They gave me a little loaner Honda Accord, the type of thing where it's like the keys under the mat. Just bring it back with a little more gas than you found it. And she was so amazing, such an incredible instructor. So we took the plane up to 10,000 feet and tipped it on its back and spun out of control and did loops and flips and Immelmans and all types of stuff. But you got to, anytime you bank an aircraft more than 45 degrees, you need to wear a parachute. And so it got real when we're in the first pre-flight and she's telling me, okay, well, listen, the only door to this airplane is on your side. So if a wing falls off, I'm going to be pointing to you to jump out first. I was like, all right, this just got real.
Oh my goodness. That's a little different than aerobics. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. That was great to get a little bit more. It was great to get to know a little bit more about you. Now we're going to move on to your career. So you kind of already talked about it. When you lived in San Diego, you went out there with your brother. You're working at Juma Ventures, and you also were the commissioner for the City of San Diego Equal Opportunity Commission. How did these roles really prepare you for the current day when you're a CEO of your own company?
I never get that question, but I actually think about it a lot. I think about the unique set of skills that I've been able to put in my toolkit. So at Sonic, I worked all the time. I mean, I was there solving my own problems. We had a big emphasis on no one's coming to save you, like figure it out, get it done. And so operationally, I learned there how a business should run, how that specific business, how through hard work and sacrifice, you can, cut costs and increase profits, things like that. With Juma, we were employing inner city kids and we were their first job. So we really got to set the tone for what great coaching and mentorship from a leadership and like an onboarding experience could be. And I still keep in touch with so many of my youngsters, and it's great to see them flourish. We've literally changed the trajectory of their lives. I also did some of the fundraising there. So as a startup, we're constantly fundraising. And so at Juma, I was raising money, and there wasn't a financial ROI. There was a social ROI. I could tell you that if you invested $100,000 in these children's lives, that we could get them to break the cycle of poverty in their own lives and get them into the workforce and good work habits and saving habits and things like that. So being able to, get investment for a social ROI, now I'm raising money for a company that we really believe in. And we think it's the Ferrari in the industry. And, and not to say that it's easier or harder, but it's a different sell, but getting those reps where you're talking to so many different foundations and individuals, high net worth folks. So there's some overlap there. And then Babson really showed me how the world works. I understood how a business works. Even at the undergraduate, I learned how, debits and credits and things should work at a business. But Babson really opened my eyes to the interplay between all of the different industries, government, finance, economics, those types of things.
That's great. So then you went on, you founded Contrap, and is it Hio?
Contap.
Contap?
Yep. Connecting with a tap.
Got it. Is this where the kind of the entrepreneurial bug bit you and you kind of decided I was going to kind of not work for a company, do my own thing?
I think so. I don't think I ever really worked for another company. This is where we had an idea, and Babson shows you can't get any other degree. You can't get a science degree. You can't get liberal. It's just business. It's also the #1 private business school in the world. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's Babson, then Harvard, then Stanford, then MIT. And 100% of the professors have to have either started or ran a business. It can't be based in theory. It is based on practice. So the only thing they teach you to do is how to ideate, how to look for problems and opportunities, how to use design thinking, for example, just to work with customers, talk to them. What problems are you having? We think you have this problem. Do you have this problem? And we were going to solve it this way. Do you want it solved that way? And that's still today what we do. So at Contap, we had, if we relaunched it today, it would still be the most progressive app that I've ever seen in terms of networking and relationship building. So both of those companies were centered around a mobile app that you could download, and then you could connect with one another at events or just in your daily passing. If you met someone, you could easily swap contact information, documents, social media platforms, and we did pre-scripted follow-up emails. Just like getting out of an Uber where you could say, Steve was known for a good conversation, you could give someone compliments on some of the soft skills. as well. And you could build a profile. Oh, 13 people think that Jason's a great conversationalist or upbeat and positive, things like that. And then everybody you met went to your CRM as well. But when the pandemic hit, we had just received a verbal offer for that company, Hio. It was at a time when, after the pandemic, we had contracts with the number one largest networking company in the world, the number two, the number three, to roll out our app at all of these events. And the pandemic hit and no one needed the in-person app that was used for networking because there were no events. So we pivoted. Yeah.
Have you thought about bringing it back?
When I go to events and they ask me to download their event app and it's in 2024, could not even hold a candle to what we had in 2021, 2020. Sometimes I do, but we're just laser focused on solving problems for our hotel guests now and our travel and hospitality groups.
Totally fair.
But I do. And even my employees will be like, this, Hio, which was Hio was short for hit it off. So two people meet, you hit it off. And then it's like, where do we take the relationship? Maybe I'll share Instagram, LinkedIn, and my phone number, or maybe I'll just give you my email and Twitter, X, whatever it was.
Very cool. So in 2022, you founded Hovr. How did this idea come to be? And was there a final straw that, you ran, or something that you ran into that was a final straw where you're like, that's it. Like, I need to start my own company to solve this problem?
It wasn't that, I need to start my own company to solve it. It was, we were talking to marketers about coming out of Hio. We had a little bit of cash left. And we're like, we're no longer in events. And I had this idea for being on the web that, browsing the internet is something you always do in isolation. It's a lonely thing to browse the internet. And to the extent possible, what if we could expose the front end of the web traffic to make every site its own self-contained social community, piggybacking on the ability to build relationships and stuff. So we filed a couple patents on that, which we may bring back for some interesting stuff in the future. But on that, we also, at the time, Clubhouse, drop-in audio was really strong. You had passive audio in terms of audiobooks and podcasts, and Clubhouse was exploding. So we filed a patent and got it granted on allowing anyone to go live on their own website and people to drop in. And so if you're BMW North America, you could be talking about maybe your quarterly earnings, or you could be talking about a new feature that was coming out, a new product, your new hybrid electric, and how it's going to revolutionize the industry. And your actual fans on the website could just drop in live. And so we went to marketers, true Babson fashion, and this is just how Hovr really became Hovr, is we went to them and they're like, this is cool, but live scares us. Live audio really scares us. And how are you going to moderate the chat? And we were like, well, we've got all these things in place for profanity blockers and images and uploads. You can't say crude things. And they're like, we don't want anyone to talk about Toyota and BMW, or we don't want anything live, anything exposed. We don't want this. And so while we were there, we were just having so many conversations with marketers. We said, well, what do you want? What are your problems? Since we're here, what are your problems? And they said, well, we do have a lot of content. We already paid for it. We spent the time, money, effort. We've got influencer content, and it just sits in repositories or resource sections on the website where nobody ever goes. Or we paid for it once and it's on YouTube and no one's watching it now. So we said, okay, so you want to reuse existing content? They said, yeah, that'd be great. So initially we went to market. Hovr was for e-commerce. And so we went out and you go to the North Face, you're looking at a tent. And you say, well, boy, can I put this thing together? Can I do it myself on the mountain when it's windy? How does this work? How quickly can it happen? We started to get some traction. We still have some e-commerce customers, but we met the CEO of Wandrian, Mike Fuller. They own the Italia Rail, Italia Hotels, Italia Tours, one of our bigger customers. And he was looking at it from an investment standpoint, and they're investors in Hovr. And he said, Jason, this could be a multi-billion-dollar business if you never left travel. And to my surprise at the time, I said, travel? No, this is for e-commerce. And he said, just show what you have to some travel sites. Think about all the content. Think about, you want to know the room type, the amenities. Do they have a pool, a rooftop lounge? Can I rent a cabana? What's the pool scene like? And we thought, well, boy, so we did. We took the biggest swing ever, a massive risk, and bought a keynote at the Digital Travel Connect event last April and that's when we really launched for travel and hospitality. And to my great surprise, when I got off stage after the 20-minute keynote and we started looking out, people were lined up and they wanted to talk to us. And they said, I really like this. Let's talk more. So it was at that point we just decided, and the travel and hospitality space has adopted us. I mean, with open arms, just, oh my gosh, come on in here. We have some more ideas. Can you do this? We'd love that. So from that point on, we were really focused on travel and hospitality and building products and features just for this specific industry. And it has been a game changer. I will also say, the people in travel and hospitality, and maybe it's just because, like me being a restaurant owner and working dishwasher, I was a bellman, at the Binghamton Regency in upstate New York when I was going to Broome Community College. People are nicer. We would go to conferences in e-commerce and they'd go, "You have 30 seconds, go. Why do you exist?" And we're like, okay, and we talk and here people are like, "Hey, I can you tell me about it? And how can you help me?" And okay, well, does it do that? So they're just much more open to the solutions, open to embracing technology. And I have just found the people to be incredible in travel and hospitality.
That's great. So can you maybe take us through, so those who are listening or watching, maybe just some use cases, maybe talk about a client or talk about how actually, because most hotels at the end of the day want the solution, I'm assuming your solution, to drive more direct bookings through their website. So maybe just walk us through kind of a use case, kind of like what would be the guest experience on a website and what they would see and how that would work and help the hotel.
Sure. So just to back in, like to use the e-commerce people, like, why do you exist? When you go to a travel site and you're considering, maybe you're dreaming, but maybe you're also in the point in your customer decision-making journey where you're considering this area. When you land on the site and you're considering booking a hotel, for example, or a resort, you have questions. What's the pool scene going to be like? Is the dolphin excursion going to happen? Do they have a kids club? Like, many questions. So oftentimes that journey breaks and you leave the website, you go to Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube for sure, and you try to figure out what it's actually going to be like, because hotels put up some images, maybe some videos, but you've really got to navigate around. And so it's hard to get all of your questions answered in that single session direct booking. So you leave. And then if you do end up booking that resort, maybe it's at an OTA, or maybe you've just gone and you've booked a different place. And so we really try to stress that single session direct booking. So the way that it would manifest is, if I'm on a site and I'm looking at different room types, we have 12 patents now that have been granted and issued, 12 new inventions, where you just drag and drop an element. You can highlight text on a page, or you can actually configure elements and drop them on the page. And when they're hovered over or tapped on mobile, about 70% of our traffic comes from mobile, you get a video delivered to you. So our slogan for a while has been content in context. So if you're mentioning a certain panoramic view, show the view. If you're mentioning grabbing a cup of coffee and going out on the patio for sunrise, show that moment. These are the moments that matter to people, and we're trying to get them excited. So, if you're using 2 paragraphs on your page to explain how wonderful it is, one single piece of content can do wonders. And so we just allow you, whereas normally to deploy a type of video like this would take a team of 3 to 20 people, 30 to 45 days, we've condensed that down to 1 human in 45 seconds.
That is awesome. Well, that was great to know more about your background and hear an introduction to Hovr. Now we're going to move more into the industry thoughts. So, like you said earlier, Hovr is all about driving more conversions on hotel websites. Is there, kind of a similar question? Have you seen what improvements are you seeing with hotels that you're working with on conversions? And has there been one hotel that has just, it's just really increased their bookings that has been a best practice?
The really cool thing is it always works every time from day one. You plug it in. When we were building it, we hoped it worked. We hypothesized it would work. When people started to embrace us, Xanterra, we run most of the national park services in the United States with them. Italia Rail, most of the rail line in Italy. Every time you plug it in, we have an activity feed. You plug it in and you go live, and people just start watching videos. And those videos convert. So our clients see 20 to 40 times the industry average click-through rate. So if you're on a page and you watch a video, you click. What's interesting is we have dual CTAs as well. So 2 different calls to action. If you go to a travel site, you will always see check availability or book now, book now, book now, book now. And it's true, some people are ready to book. But what we have found in our data is over 50% of the time when someone clicks a button, it's to that secondary CTA. It's to the learn more. It's to the view room types, explore amenities. So that leads us to believe that there are people that want to book now, but the vast majority of people are still gathering information and evaluating all of their alternatives. So they want to find out. They're giving you this golden opportunity. I'm here and I want you to educate me, and I'm open to being inspired to action. So we're pleasantly surprised that it's working. Just from a couple customer standpoints, Xanterra, we went live with them last July. They wanted to go live for their Christmas and July sale. They noted that it was the most successful sale that they'd ever had in July and attributed it to Hovr, which was spectacular. And then they had another big sale in December, and it was the biggest sale that they'd ever had, the most successful one, attributed it to Hovr as well, which is really great because you're not going to drag your 3 kids out to a national park with flights and then the rental car and the travel only to get there and have it not match up with your expectations. So people are craving to know exactly what this place is going to look like. What are we going to do when the kids are there in their downtime, or what trails are we going to go to? How is it going to be? And so it's just been critical to educate and inspire these people on what your experience is going to be like. And simultaneously, what we're doing is we're increasing confidence and we're decreasing risk. The reason why, unfortunately, travel and hospitality simultaneously has the highest cart abandonment rate in all of online shopping and the lowest conversion rate of all of online shopping is because of indecisiveness. If I'm unsure of what this experience is going to be like, I don't do it. I mean, think about it in our daily lives. I have 3 little ones. I have a 5, a 6, and an 8-year-old. If I am doing a flight across country to Banff, and we have to make a connection from Philadelphia. With 3 kids, if there's 2 flights, one has a 30-minute connection and one has an hour and a half connection. Risk has been introduced in the first one. I don't know. Maybe we can get there, but maybe potty breaks and everything and, all the stuff we got to lug. So I'm going to go with the option that has the least risk to me and in our journey. So we find that that's what happens too. If you can de-risk that for people. The London House in Chicago, Don Barnett is doing an incredible job there as well. They have so many items about the hotel, so many elements that are unique. The second ranked rooftop in all of the country, which is pretty great. I actually think it's number 1, but the rankings say number 2. They do tea time from 12 to 3 every single day. And it's like an English tea setup. Incredible. Great restaurants, great accommodations. Beautiful view. When you walk out their doors, you are on the Magnificent Mile. You're on the Chicago River, and their slogan is, "It starts here." And it certainly does. So what we try to do when someone comes to us is we're looking to drive an emotional reaction on a website. That's what Hovr does. We try to drive an emotional reaction. And in particular, people would say, well, what emotion? There's only one emotion we're after. It is excitement. And so we want to get people excited, but excitement is defined by anticipating an experience that is both novel and unique. So if you want someone to be excited, you've got to show them things that are novel and unique. And so that's what Don's doing. They have a Peloton room with a Peloton inside the room. You can actually work out. You don't have to go down to the gym. They're showcasing the rooftop. They're showcasing things to do also in the community, events that are coming up. So that's what we try to do. We just try to, using a content touch where a human touch was once necessary, we just try to get people really excited to book with you.
I love that. And, one thing I want to hit on here is kind of the guest booking journey, right? You said like potential guests will visit a website and then they'll leave, go to another website, go check out another hotel, but then come back and kind of to compare notes and then go to another website, but then come back. The average guest comes to the website multiple times before booking. But what you're doing is really increasing the transparency of the hotels. Besides direct booking conversions, are you seeing your product help speed up the booking process? Also, are you seeing an increase of revenue for these hotels since they're able to showcase all their amenities in video format?
Yeah, absolutely. So the stat out there is 38 websites. On average, someone that's booking or looking to book, you will visit 38 websites before you book. And that could be everything. It's not just the hotel website or the flights, but it's flights, it's hotels. What are we going to do? How are we going to get from the airport to there? What activities are going on? StubHub, lots of different ones, even DMOs, Visit Chicago, what's happening. So when you finally end up ready to book that neighborhood, ready to book that area, we find certainly our click-through rates do lead to revenue. And we've got a feature in Hovr that allows you to put in your GA4 tag and your ID, and then you can match up on the back end the 100% attributed revenue. So that's great from an ROI standpoint. And we always say most of our clients pay between $299 and $499, depending on how much site traffic they have per month. So it's kind of we hear the word no-brainer by our clients all the time. They're like, well, if on January 1st at 8 a.m. you contribute to one sale, like one night stay, it pays for itself all month long. So it certainly does increase revenue, but more so you're getting people that are confident in their booking. They know what to actually experience, know what to anticipate when they get there. When they hit the ground, they're hitting the ground running. And we also have a product coming out in Q3 that hopefully is going to drive total RevPAR as well. So it gets the most out of your experience when you're staying. Right now we're in the pre-purchase engagement, pre-purchase assistance for conversion, but we really want to help people also make the most out of that experience once they are on site at the hotel, resort, whatever that may be.
Are you seeing more positive reviews from these guests of these hotels since, like you said, they understand what they're going to get before they get there, so they're not going to be disappointed with the amenities or anything like that?
We have not looked at that. So that is something that we should look at. When somebody went live, their past reviews on different OTAs and wherever they may be, and then after the fact, were they more satisfied because they knew what to expect going in? That's an interesting hypothesis. We'll check that out, Steve. Appreciate that.
So obviously what you're doing in Hovr is changing the guest experience. Are there other ways that you think the guest experience will change over the next couple of years?
I think what we're seeing and what we're responding to right now, one of the features we're also launching at High Tech is called Pathways. I had the opportunity last September to give the chairman's address and kind of MC the beginning of the Digital Travel Summit event in Hilton Head. And in doing that, I had to call people ahead of time and I was going to introduce them, bring them up on stage. And so as I was talking with them, getting to know them, they were telling me about their business. One person from Travelocity in particular gave me the most interesting stat that I've heard since we moved into this industry over a year ago. He said over 50% of the time that someone searches, let's say Chicago, over 50% of the time when they actually book, it's to a destination other than their original search term. That's a 50, not 15. Over 50% of the time, if I search Miami, I'm going to San Diego. If I search Hilton Head, I may end up in Austin, Texas. And so what that tells us, and we're hypothesizing, is the site visitor is open to discovery. They're open to being influenced. They may have a finite amount of money to spend on the vacation, but they may want just a beach vacation. They may want to go and maximize that experience. And so if you're prepared as a hotel brand and you have content on your site ready to convert, you can actually inspire and lure people to go to your neighborhood, to go to your hotel rather than Miami. And that happened to us. I just did a keynote in April where I talked about for spring break, my family was dead set on a beach vacation. Now, we were not dead set on Miami, but Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, we were looking at Hilton Head, Myrtle Beach, which we've been. And lo and behold, we end up booking a vacation to the mountains of Virginia. And so I ended up rewriting the entire keynote on the plane out there to talk about this issue. How in the heck does that happen? We had envisioned ourselves on a sandy beach, toes in the sand, relaxing with the kids, and then we're at the Omni Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia. Like, how does that happen? And it happens because we were open to, hey, we're not stuck to Miami. Now, if you're someone that always goes to the same beach town every year for 30 years, okay, like, do you? But there are a massive subset of other people out there that are saying, show us a better time and we will actually go. And so we believe that the opportunity on site to engage and inspire people to kind of change their plans, that's what happened to us. We got a hold of the Omni Homestead's activity. It was over Easter break, and we actually celebrated Easter there. They had Easter egg hunts for the kids, tons of activities. The entire weekend was spectacular, and they really did a good job, but they got us to go there because we were excited about this other experience. And we spent way more money than the beach vacation would have been. We had sadly 12 hours in the car with the 3 kids. So it was longer than we expected. It cost more, but we did it because we anticipated a better experience. That was both novel and unique for sure. So just to answer your question on that, what we're seeing and what we're responding to in that vein is we're rolling out a feature called Pathways, which actually allows you to pick your journey for content consumption. So as you're watching one video, we can say, do you want to see what the room's like? Yeah, I'm only midway through this video, but maybe I do. And then Pathways allows some branching logic. Do you want to check out the breakfast experience, or would you like to discover the nightlife? And so also potentially using a third party like TransUnion to understand the different profiles, channel entries. Did you come from a Facebook ad and now you're here? We're going to treat that in the future. We're going to treat that individual differently in terms of the content they consume or are offered. A lot of different touch points to say, is this interesting to you? If we know that in your profile you have children, we're going to prioritize the pool and the amenities and not so much, the candlelight dinner and not so much the spa treatments. So based on actions, inactions, known knowns, and channel entry, we're going to try to triangulate what we should offer different people to speed up their journey for them, give them only what's relevant to them. And if we can do that, hopefully it's more germane to them, their actual experience, their intentions. And that's kind of how we're responding to that over 50% stat. And the feature is completely 100% fully immersive on mobile. So it's a mobile experience where it looks very much like TikTok. Imagine a hotel being able to have their own TikTok channel right on their own site, and they get people really fired up and excited, and then they dive into booking.
All right. So earlier you said that hoteliers are friendly compared to e-commerce people, so they must be real a-holes. Like, because we've been doing, Steve and I have been in this a long time, and yeah, hoteliers are hoteliers, hospitality, but it's a tough industry to sell into. There's a lot of noise. So what advice would you give someone who's either starting out their business and going into selling into hotels, hospitality, or somebody like yourself who went from one vertical and kind of pivoted? Is there advice you would give to somebody starting out or making that pivot?
Yeah, I can only speak for my own experience, but we obsess over solving these problems for our customers. We have internal conversations every single minute of every day about getting better, booking more. If you do not come to market with something that is like 10 times better than the current solution, so revolutionary, it may be hard. If it's a Me Too product and you saw that, hey, so-and-so over here has a pretty good product, maybe we could do a knockoff or one piece of the puzzle. I could see it being tough because the buyers that we talk to, they have a lot going on. They're really busy. That's why our admin and everything that we've patented is so easy to use. We know that they could have up to 100 different MarTech solutions. That's 100 logins, 100 dashboards, 100 emails coming in daily of, hey, this thing works, and updates and things like that. And not to mention the products that are being thrown at them that they have to see. Is this truly new and different? Is this really going to help me? Is it just a buzzword? So I would say number one is it actually has to be new and different and novel and unique. And we find when we sit down with people, they literally will tell us verbatim, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this. So we know that we came to market with the most superior product that you could ever see on the market. We do know that for sure. So that's really important. And then once we got a couple of people excited early on, and then those people have taken us by the hand to other people. So we didn't necessarily identify them, but somehow through speaking engagements and whatnot, we became friends with them and partners, and they've really helped us pull in other people. Nick Horgan's one of those that actually introduced me to you, Steve, and then David for the gain piece in Charlotte at High Tech. And he's never asked for anything. He just said, hey, what you're doing is really cool. I want to jump on a call with you, and I have some intros for you. And people like that have just popped up. Miles Partnership, one of their great account execs, Catherine Poetter there, same thing. Hey, I want to introduce you to this person and that person. So I find that in no way are these people asking to be rewarded, but when you can get some people fired up for you, then they have gone on to make introductions. And here we are today on this podcast, literally because Nick made the introduction to you, Steve. So big props to him if he's listening.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out, Nick. Well, that was great. So we've been asking you questions this whole time. So now we're going to turn the tables a little bit, and we're going to let you ask us a question.
Interesting. What? What questions do you normally get?
We get asked, who's your favorite guest? We've got asked that. Okay. Yeah, that one we get often.
Here, how about what's the in the United States alone? What's your favorite resort that you visited, either with family or for work?
Favorite place we've stayed in the United States.
Resort, not hotel, resort.
Favorite resort.
I've been to a lot. I mean, we did a lot of. I'm lucky. I moved from the East Coast to Phoenix, and so we did a lot of. When we first got out here about 6 years ago, we did a lot of staycations. We were used to doing the New Jersey to New York thing we used to like train our kids how to travel. We thought that was important, that even if we didn't have a purpose to go to New York, that when they were little, they got used to, being in the car, going to hotels. So there's the Mountain Shadow Resort out here, and the funniest thing is you would say, oh, well, was it the service or this? It was that we went there for Thanksgiving and there was nobody there. And we had a cabana. I was watching football. For me, it was like my first, Thanksgiving in Phoenix. And we had great big adjoining rooms, and they had a great, Thanksgiving dinner. So you didn't really, you felt like you still had, the food, but without the company. Whereas I'm used to Thanksgiving being around family. So that was interesting, but probably one of the funnest one we've had.
I would say mine is probably the Peaks Resort in Telluride, Colorado. I don't know if you've ever been to Telluride, but it is absolutely beautiful. And this resort sits on a golf course surrounded by mountains. And I also enjoy aviation like you. I don't fly or anything like that, but I love Top Gun. But
that qualifies.
That qualifies. This hotel, you're kind of sitting out on this balcony overlooking the golf course, the mountains. It's absolutely beautiful. But in the distance, there is an airport, and this airport's almost on the mountains, and it has an extremely short runway. So planes are coming in and landing and then taking off as well. But it was just the guest experience was absolutely incredible. The staff there was awesome, but also the views and just the hotel in general. And Telluride is an amazing, amazing city. If you ever get a chance, go. It's incredible. So I'd say that's ours. But good question. Good question. Well, this has been great. So now I'm going to loop in John, our producer. He's been listening for the whole episode. He's going to ask you our final question before we log off here.
So you mentioned that you kind of started out selling to e-commerce like as your focus. I'm curious, shifting to travel and hospitality, you mentioned that hospitality was much nicer. Maybe that was a surprise, but what other surprises or just good things that you've enjoyed about working with travel and hospitality and in this industry?
One is there's a lot more content as well. So people come to us and they've already had photo shoots, video shoots. They have content, influencer content. Some people actually have flown in, celebrities or influencers, and they have professional grade content ready to go. We did build a feature that allows you to get some more content from the camera rolls of your guests if they upload it through a QR code. But that's one. So they have more content day one. They have a lot more opportunity for influence. So if you're on e-commerce and you're looking to buy a product, right, it's a lower consideration item, a $40 item. You get it home. If it works, great. If not, what the heck, you throw it away. But I like the fact in travel and hospitality that you really got to get it right. You have to, there's so much about committing for a week stay. My family and I, for my 40th, are headed out to San Diego. We're going to do San Diego and then up to Disneyland, hopefully. And I want to know what that experience is going to be like. So with e-commerce, we were really going to support the owner of the business, and to the extent possible, the site visitor, like getting them to buy the product and feel more comfortable. But I really think that we're helping that guest feel more confident and understand. I really think that not only are we helping with click-through rates and revenue for our clients, but I truly believe that we're doing a good service by that end site visitor. So that's another one. And in e-commerce, if you got one client, like for example, we're on CBS Deals right now. If you on Saturday mornings, you're watching CBS Morning Show and they say, hey, here's the 10 gadgets of the week. People run to the website. So no offense to them, but that's a bigger deal for us, but it's one URL, thousands of SKUs. and you get paid once a month. With travel and hospitality, what's nice is a lot of our clients have multiple URLs. And so, if you actually get to show value to a client and they come on board with you, you don't just get one deal, you might get 25, or you get one and you get 16. And so those are very high leverage activities for us, where you don't just get one and you spend a lot of time getting the North Face and you get paid once. You also get the opportunity to help people in different areas. So I would say those are three solid things that I love about this industry.
Well, thank you. Well, that does it for another episode of the Modern Hotelier. This is the part, Jason, where you get to let people know how to find out more about Hovr and connect with yourself. So plug away.
So you can check out more of our work at gethovr.com. That's GETHOVR.com. And we'd love to do a demo, showcase the product. You can also find us there. We've got a lot of links out to existing clients so you can see us. You may have seen videos as well on a lot of the different partner sites that we have. And you can just search my name on LinkedIn as well. Love to connect with anyone. And if I can support you in any way, happy to do so.
Well, that does it for another episode of the Modern Hotelier. Whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you and hope to be with you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
This episode is brought to you by Hovr, the intelligent content delivery software that crushes the industry average click-through rate by up to 4,000%. Hovr's patented technology enables marketers to bring the right content to the right person at the right time on your site, creating moments that matter with your site visitors. Those moments build engagement and deliver excited prospects into your booking flow, ready for the next trip. Organically enhance your website without using a developer to turn any text into an interaction. Show rather than tell what your amenities truly feel like. Why explain square footage in numbers when you can show the difference an extra 30 square feet can make with that gorgeous lounge area? Keep track of your activity, optimize your engagement, and continue to stay ahead of the curve with Hovr's advanced tracking and analytics suite. Whether your content is professionally shot, a collection of user-generated content, or a healthy mix of both, Hovr has a product that'll make your content convert. Hovr's newest feature, Pathways, puts your guests and possibly even their content center stage in a mobile prioritized immersive experience. Sign up before the end of August to access all of Hovr's newest features for one bulk price. Get Hovr set up in a day and start seeing results immediately.
You made it to the end of the Modern Hotelier. Thanks for listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Make More Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you know a guest or sponsor that would be a good fit, feel free to email us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. If you'd like to get some Modern Hotelier merch, click the merch button on modernhotelier.com or click the link below. Thanks and have a great day.